Jaden Higgins, wide receiver 39, or Josh Downs, wide receiver 44?
Yeah, this one was I think this one is tied for the toughest one of all of the guys we've talked about
Okay.
today. I'm gonna lean the vet here in Josh Downs, and I know I've leaned the vet in pretty much all of them so far, but I'm gonna lean it again. Really, when I'm looking at Downs, I don't like the Indy quarterback play. I don't think anybody loves the Indy quarterback play, and I think that's really what's limiting this upside in the short term. I do think he is the long-term slot guy there in Indianapolis. You know, he had a 26% target share last year when he was healthy. So we like to see that when he's on the football field, he's a guy that's getting the football pretty often. It's also another guy, you know, I talked about success rates for Garrett Wilson, 90th percentile versus man for Josh Downs in 2 straight years. The other guys who have done that are all guys that we consider elite. Josh Downs is one of the guys that we don't consider elite yet, I think, at this point in time. And maybe that's just because of the quarterback play. And not only that, you know, this is a little bit of a smaller wide receiver, but he's also excelled at contested catch. He, you know, has caught 70% of the contested catches that have come his way in 2024. So I really do like Jaden Higgins. I think he's a player that I would probably be, you know, you said 51 and 49. I think
Yeah.
I'd probably go like 55 Josh Downs and 45 Jaden Higgins, but I think I'm going to take Downs just because I think we've seen a little bit of those flashes where there's just so much potential that can be unlocked with Josh Downs. And I do actually believe Daniel Jones is probably going to be the starter for a majority of the year this year. Like, that's the way that I am operating with this. And we've seen him pepper, you know, much less wide receivers in the slot like Wan'Dale Robinson with a bajillion targets before. And if he does that with Josh Downs can, I think, absolutely feast.
No, we're in lockstep on this one as well. So you're 3 vets, no rookies. I'm 1 rookie, 2 vets so far, but I'm with you on Josh Downs. I actually have his ADP is wide receiver 44. I have him right now as my wide receiver 33. So I think he's being just crazy undervalued right now. I do believe that he's a player that his talent dictates he should be higher. And in non-Anthony Richardson games last year, he was averaging around 15 points a game. That would put you in wide receiver 1 territory. So if he is able to do that this year, it's going to either be because Daniel Jones is the quarterback or Anthony Richardson stepped it up and is playing better and completing more than, you know, less than half of his passes. He's closer to 60% of his passes, something like that. So either way, I just don't see a scenario where it's worse for Josh Downs. And I think we're going to get much better play. He's a guy that could ascend several tiers in people's rankings this offseason. So definitely very interested in Josh Downs.
Dynasty, hot body, hot boy, Dynasty, hot summer. In Dynasty, it's so easy to find yourself on another league just because you just want to draft. Like, drafting's so fun. Fast Draft gives you the opportunity. And, you know, you draft a team, then you set it, forget it. And then you open up the app at the end of the year and you go, look at me. Got so much coin in my bank account now because I did so well. So if you go on there, Fast Draft, use the promo code NERDS. They're going to match your deposit up to $50. And with that, you know, they're also going to allow us to give you a free Nerd Herd membership. So we're going to give you a free 1-year membership to Nerd Herd, everything that comes with it, extra podcast, and of course the Dynasty GM app, which is the dopest tool out there in the world today when it comes to fantasy football and Dynasty. If you're already a Nerd Herd member, we're going to send you a gift certificate to the merch store. So check them out. Fast Draft.
All right. So if you are new here, this is the Roster Rescue Show brought to you by Dynasty Nerds. And we do a lot of different things here. One, we grade your rosters. We tell you what to do, what moves to make, what kind of trades, all of those kinds of things. You can scan the QR code in the upper right-hand corner that says submit a roster. And we're going to make sure that we go through and we get nitpicky about your team, your league, and how you can make the best use of your assets there. But we also have like what Michael and Mike just did, where if you want to just, hey, I don't know that I want a full roster rescue. I don't know that I need you guys to check everything out. I just need to know about a specific deal or a specific trade or things like that. Then you can just put in a super chat just like these two guys did, and we guarantee to get to those questions. top 5 answers on the board here. Top 5 answers on the board.
Oh, the answers are dwindling.
Which running back that has never been the running back 1 overall has the best shot to claim the throne in 2025?
My first guess will be somebody who has a very good chance to finish as running back 1 overall, and his name is Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson, far and away the number 1 answer on the board with 67 votes. That was the highest of any question that we have so far.
Yeah.
2 away from being my kind of number. Number 2 on the board is going to be somebody who's never taken a snap in the NFL ever. Somebody who's coming in, who's got the contact balance like no other, and that is Mr. Raider Ashton Jeanty. Put him on the board, please.
That is absolutely correct. That is the number 3 response, but with only 6 votes.
Oh,
wow.
So
these things are dwindling fast.
Far and away.
Yeah.
There was an okay second one, and then the bottom 3 low vote totals.
Okay. Well, number 1 chance at being the running back 1 overall. He's got to be studly. He's got to be handsome. He's got to have a good name. He's got to be as high as a plane. And that guy is Devon Achane.
Devon Achane, number 2 answer on the board. Good catch.
So the question was, my number got 2 guy, Derrick Henry. Was he ever a running back 1 overall? I don't think he was.
Didn't he rush for like 2,000 yards?
I know, that's where I'm really confused at. I've really messed up my brain a little bit here because I can't remember if he was a running back 1 overall. That is kind of tough on my noggin. I know Christian McCaffrey was. I gotta stop limiting guys for Matt. What am I doing over here? Process of elimination. Go ahead.
No, talk out loud. This has been great. Let's workshop this thing a little bit. Come on.
Put up the guy who, for his first couple of years, that I talked major smack on. And it was my motivational speaking of telling him, which was facts. He really wasn't even a running back 2 at that point. The facts were the facts. People go, oh, well, this guy, same guy that said Derrick Henry was trash. It was only up to the point where he was trash. And then I flipped the script. And that was Derrick Henry of the Baltimore Ravens. Put him on the board.
This one is a travesty. That is an X, unfortunately. Although he was never running back 1 overall. And I even gave all the people in the survey, the guys that had been a running back 1. But I think in everyone's mind, they were all like, oh, Derrick Henry's been a running back 1 overall. So nobody voted for him.
Show me, Garrett. Travion Henderson.
Trey Henderson is unfortunately not on the board. He did get 2 votes, but like I said, nobody with under 4 made the list. So he is out. So that passes it over to Matt. Matt, this is not an easy one. The first couple, not too hard. These last 2, much more difficult.
Agreed.
I can't believe I gave that on Isaiah Pacheco. I cannot believe it.
You can't believe you what? You gave me Pacheco? Is that what you said?
Yeah, sorry.
Give
For the layup, buddy. Anybody else I want to do that for? Anybody else I would not do it for. But for you, I give it to you.
All right, this is going to be silly, but I'm going to go Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs is correct.
Yes.
Josh Jacobs, number 4 answer on the board.
All right.
Josh Jacobs. Matt with the steal. He called it. He said the first steal is happening right here. And he sure enough, he did it. The last one on the board, Bryce Hall with 4 votes. Welcome into Roster Rescue. Man, it is good to be here on an emergency episode. We have had so many come in. We have had multiple nukes. We have just been inundated. We could probably fill this entire show and my Monday's entire show without even adding any more. But I know we're going to add some today. And I'm guessing we're going to probably just have to do an emergency episode next week too, because we have so many rosters to get to. I'm really, really excited about it. Of course, Pete's here as always. Pete, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. You know what I was thinking about today?
What were you thinking about, Pete?
How happy I am that most leagues have 12 people in them, because it makes mock drafting with people so much easier, because it works with one person, right? Works with two, because 2 goes into 12. Works with 3 people, works with 4 people, and also works with 6 people.
Wow.
So you can't say that about almost any other number.
That's some deep thoughts you've had there, Pete.
Thank you.
That's pretty impressive. But
Thanks.
for the first time ever, I am happy to officially welcome Andrew as an official part of the Dynasty Nerds team. Andrew, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. Excited to get in here and get after it today. And like I told you, I've had a good morning golfing and listening to music and drafting some best ball teams. So I'm ready, man. I'm good.
Man, you pre-gamed. You are ready to go. I absolutely love it. So we are ready to go here. We're ready to start looking at your teams. Normally we have like some nonsense that we like to incorporate too, but we've got to cut it tight. We've got to be efficient today because we have got so many to get to. Like I said, we're not even going to get to them all today. So we are already at nuke mode, right, Pete? Like if you want yours on today's show, the only way to do it is nuke. Like we will not be able to fit in any extras other than what we have unless you hit that nuke button. And of course, if we do, then we will always get to it in that show. Even if I have to stay here for 8 hours, if you do a nuke, we'll get to it in today's show. So Pete, give us our first one.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, I'm gone.
He's back.
Now I'm back.
Okay.
All right. Here is our first one of the day. And this is a Superflex tight end premium. Who's the one that submitted this one?
Kevin. It is
Kevin.
a Superflex tight end premium. Start 10. 5-point passing touchdown. I have seen that more often recently. Is this a new fad type thing, or why are we doing this over
all the cool kids are doing
6 point?
It's just another change to make, just to make it something to do.
Try to figure out that happy medium there. Let's go through this team. Superflex tight end premium. We have Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, Sam Darnold at the quarterback position. Running backs, we have Devon Achane, Bucky Irving, Kenneth Walker, Bayshal Tootin, Tony Pollard, Jalen Wright, Trevor Etienne. Wide receivers, we've got Drake London, JSN, Romo Dunze, Terry McLaurin, Jacoby Myers, Calvin Ridley, Rashid Shaheed. And then tight end wise, we have got Travis Kelce and some rookies and Harold Fannin and Oronde Gadsden the second. Picks wise, we have our own first along with 3 other firsts in 2026. And then we have our own first in 2027. So right now, dynasty wise, this team is in second place. Pete, where is this team in contender mode?
Here it is. Second as well. But that first team looks mighty menacing.
Absolutely. So before we get into our team here, let's go to that first team. I want to see what we're working with here. Josh Allen, Dak Prescott. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty solid team. That's a pretty solid
Jefferson
team.
Naku is crazy.
Yep. That's a pretty nice duo. Not the greatest tight end situation though. So we can compete with this team. It's a very good team, but we can compete with this team. All right. So let's go back to ours here, Pete, and we'll go back into let's leave it in contender mode for now, because there's some moves that we can make here. So right now for me and Andrew, this is the first time we've done this. So we might have a little bit of differing opinions on how you build a roster, how you look at a contending team. So there's a few different things for me that kind of stand out right away. One, I think our quarterback situation is good, but we don't at this point have a true difference maker at the quarterback position. So that's a possibility if there's a trade to be made out there. I'm not saying we have to. We'd be fine here, especially if Trevor Lawrence takes that next step with Liam Cohen. he could be just fine. We've seen Patrick Mahomes be elite before, but past couple seasons, he has been he's regressed a little bit as far as fantasy production goes. Looking then at can you scroll down to the wide receivers again? I need to be reminded.
Yeah.
Wide receivers were very solid. I'm not worried about the receivers. So the biggest thing for me is, what do we do about tight end? If this is a tight end premium, Travis Kelce used to be the gold standard. I have a harder time trusting in that at this point. And I would also be okay taking some of our running back that we have here and trying to maybe upgrade one of those guys into another tier, into another level. The good news for us is we have 4 first-round picks in 26. Now, I'm not super high on the 2026 class overall, and especially if I'm a team that is right. I mean, obviously, I'm a contender. I'm the number 2 team, but I'm also this far away from being able to beat the number 1 team. I'm saying those first-round picks are readily available for some legitimate upgrades. So, Andrew, what about you? Do you see this in a similar light or a little different?
Yeah, I mean, I very much operate with the idea of, if we're going to flip this to a contender, like we want to do, try and push this number 1 team and try and fight for a championship this year, a lot of those 26 firsts that we are holding on to, they're not doing us any good sitting there on the bench. So let's just make sure that we get some production out of those. So I definitely agree there. I also agree with the aspect where, quarterback room is good, not great. It feels like you have to have 2 guys see some improvement to feel really good there. You either need Mahomes to kind of have that positive regression to go back into a little bit of a downfield thrower, and you need Trevor Lawrence to hit with Liam Cohen. And then I also think we have enough wide receiver depth here where, you were talking about maybe combining a couple of those running backs to upgrade. I think we could do that at the wide receiver position as well.
Yeah, you're probably right. We could probably make something like that happen as well. So let's go with some of these bottom tier teams. Let's look at 11 specifically could be an interesting one. Let's go down there. Who they have? Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey. This is a team we can work with here. Now, they might think they're a contender with Taylor and Christian McCaffrey, but looking at their depth, they just don't have a lot of depth at wide receiver. Who's their quarterbacks and tight ends here, Pete?
Caleb Williams, Richardson, and Young, and Freiermuth.
Who's a quarterback?
Not a lot there to work with.
There's not a lot there to work with. So right away, I am interested potentially in one of those 2 running backs because we're fine at the running back position, but I would really like to secure a 3rd legitimate running back that, as a contender, can help me win a ship. How do you feel about Christian McCaffrey? Are you willing to take that risk, or would you rather play it a little more safe with Jonathan Taylor that maybe doesn't quite have the same ceiling, but we have seen him be a legitimate RB1 many times in his career?
I'll be honest. I think both of them are somewhat similar risks. We saw a lot of the production from Jonathan Taylor last year. I think it was 46% of his production on the entire season came from 3 games there at the back end of the year. So yeah, I think it's really tough to trust a guy like Jonathan Taylor. If you want Jonathan Taylor on the team, you have to be under the impression that you feel like Daniel Jones is either going to be an answer to some of the efficiencies for Indianapolis, or you believe that A-Rich is going to take the step forward. And I don't know if I can confidently say that with either of those guys, that is the truth. So if we're going to be swinging at a veteran running back and a riskier running back, I'd rather just swing at Christian McCaffrey. 1, he's probably cheaper in the dynasty market, the trade market right now. And 2, he has the higher ceiling with probably similar risk. So let's just swing at CMC if we can.
All right, so let's look at CMC. We're going to have to give a first to get CMC. Do you think we would need to offer much more?
What are we offering again?
A first for CMC. Do you think we would need to offer much more? Now, we don't happen to have this guy's first because I see that he's missing his first. Do we have his first?
Let's see. Yep, we do.
Oh, that's easy. You give this guy back his first because that's his way of indicating, yeah, it's not going to work this year. So now I'm banking on this first being an earlier one. I think that's the first move we make, like, easily. Offer this guy back his first, Christian McCaffrey.
I think you can probably get more thrown in there if you're giving him his first, because like you said, that comes with like a, self-talk there of like, I'm not going to be competing, so I'm getting my first back. And with that, now we know that this first is probably going to be a little bit earlier than we had imagined. So, you know, I think about it right now. Like, would you trade the 104, the 105, the 106 for Christian McCaffrey? I probably wouldn't. I would rather have that early rookie pick. So if I'm going to be sending that for the CMC guy, he's got to give me a little bit extra on top. And I wouldn't mind, you know, maybe you can convince him. I don't know. Does he have a second here, Pete?
He has multiple 27 seconds.
And he's got a 26 seconds.
Like, could you throw me one of those 27 seconds and CMC, and I'll give you this first that you and I both know is going to be early because you're deciding that you're going to be tanking now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's an easy move. We're definitely looking to move this guy's first round pick back to him. Now let's see if we can upgrade our tight end spot. Where is George Kittle sitting on a contender right now? Because I would love to go after George Kittle.
Check it out.
Sam Laporta, David Njoku's a good backup option if we can't. Oh, he's got Trey McBride. He probably doesn't want to move him though. Okay,
Man,
Brock
Bowers
is
and
there.
McBride are.
So I bet the third team's the one with Kittle.
Props.
Yep. Although they also have Evan Ingram.
I was going to say, if you can't get Kittle, I don't mind grabbing Ingram as well. I'm very bullish on Ingram this year.
So that's the next move I'm making. I'm looking at either Evan Ingram or David Njoku. Let's remember David Njoku with Joe Flacco was the year that he put up what ended up being tight end 3 overall or something like that. Like he had a monster season with Joe Flacco. So we know that can be done. And on a points per game basis, he was up there again last year. So either one of those guys, I think I would like to ensure my Travis Kelce policy right now, because Travis Kelce, could he have one last hurrah? Absolutely he could. He's one of the greatest tight ends we've ever had for fantasy football, arguably the greatest. But on the flip side, he could just be done. Like he could be too busy whispering sweet nothings into Taylor Swift's ear and, you know, just a little distracted from football. And, you know, now he's just not competing like we thought he would. So I think those are the moves. We're going after CMC with our first round pick. Then we're going after either David Njoku or Evan Ingram to be able to ensure that we have a solid tight end room. Now, last but not least, do we want to take another look at receiver or quarterback, or do you feel like those two moves are sufficient for now and you'd rather kind of wait in season to see how things play out?
I don't mind making it now if we can do it, throwing a first on top of T-Law or throwing a first on top of Mahomes to see if we can up tier into a different, you know, type of QB. I don't mind doing that now.
Mm-hmm. What are the quarterbacks team 6 has? He looks like he sucks everywhere except for quarterback. So he's got Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, but the rest of his team is, I mean, it's pretty mid, and that might even be a little generous. So I would kind of throw it his way. He's still got his picks. Oh, he doesn't have his 27 first though. But he's still got his picks this year. I would throw T-Law out there a first and maybe even like a wide receiver swap, because we could take on an older wide receiver to just kind of help us work this year and give him somebody a little bit younger, because he looks like he's ready to just be nothing. Like absolutely
also,
nothing.
A guy down there that's like not even probably on this dude's radar is Darnell Mooney. Like I would happily just throw Darnell Mooney as my flex play, you know, when I need him, and down tier that wide receiver, like you're saying. Like it doesn't even have to be an older guy. I think Mooney probably has a couple more, you know, good years with him there. And last year he was still producing wide receiver 2 weeks for us.
Yeah.
And nothing has really changed there. So yeah, I think he's sneaky.
Well, what's our wide receiver room look like, Pete?
We have JSN, London, McLaurin, Ridley, and Odunze.
Okay. Man, we don't have any obvious ones out there that I would want to get rid of, because I want to hold those top 3 guys in season, and even Ridley.
And Odunze.
Yeah. I would say, all right, maybe backtrack from the receiver. Because if anything, I wouldn't mind upgrading one of those guys. I don't know that we have.
What if you throw in a guy like Tootin and get some, name value right now or something like that? Even throw in a Pollard if you need to make that get pushed over the edge.
Yeah, since we're adding CMC, that gives us kind of that wiggle room to be able to potentially do that. So if we threw in a Bayshall Tootin out there for this team, so we would be giving up Trevor Lawrence, a first, and Bayshall Tootin, and we would get back his choice of Lamar or Jalen Hurts, which I'm assuming is going to be Jalen Hurts. I don't see him doing Lamar Jackson. Do you think that would be enough to get it done? Or do you?
No.
I would be hesitant to do that if I was on the other side. Like, I don't think that would quite be enough.
I don't think it's enough. Honestly, I think if you're going to try and make, now that you said it out loud, if you're going to make that move for Hurts, you almost have to throw it as Mahomes' name and trust Trevor Lawrence to take that step. And so it's going to have to be like Mahomes and maybe Mahomes and Pollard for Hurts. Or maybe it's Mahomes and the first, and you get Hurts and a second thrown back.
Let me throw this out there because thinking out loud a little bit. What if instead, now knowing that we're getting CMC, what if it was just Trevor Lawrence and Kenneth Walker for Jalen Hurts?
Not opposed to that at all.
I think that would be pretty darn close. Now this guy's like, I'm getting younger at both of these positions. And yeah, it hurts losing Jalen Hurts, but if he's a believer, and that's going to be the key cog in all of this, do you believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to improve significantly under Cohen or not? Because if not, this deal can't get done. But if he does believe that, I think that's going to be pretty darn close.
Who was the wide receivers on that guy's team as well?
That was team.
I'm just trying to see if there was any type of
Cooper.
Yeah. I was trying to see if there was any
Downs.
Jacksonville correel. Maybe he could sneak in a Travis Hunter stack or something. You know what I mean? Like to make him feel a little bit more involved. I don't know. I feel like if people have the player on their team that they can stack, it always adds a little bit of extra hope to the mix.
Yeah. Let me get that stack, baby. All right. So I think those are the main moves that we're making. We're looking to make a little bit of an upgrade at quarterback. So that way we're truly competing week in and week out at the quarterback. Move our 26 first, or actually that guy's 26 first, get CMC. We might even be able to get a little extra on top, maybe a second on top of that. And then potentially, if we're getting CMC, moving Kenneth Walker and T-Law together for Jalen Hurts. We also would love to get a little Ingram and Njoku help at tight end just to solidify that position. So, Andrew, you feel good about that?
Yeah, I definitely feel good about that.
All right. Best of luck this season, my guy. And look, I don't want to be like surprise spoiler guy, but we have so many nukes coming. So Pete, hit the thing.
I didn't know we were going directly into that. Okay.
All right. On this one, is this we got Tyler here?
Yeah, this is Tyler's team.
All right. Tyler's
his main question is, how close to contention am I? Do I need more depth or stars?
All right. This is a super flex. We don't have tight end premium here.
It is.
Super flex 12
tight end premium.
team. What's that?
It's tight end premium.
Oh, I was reading the notes. It doesn't say tight end premium.
Oh, the league's saying tight end premium. My bad.
Oh, good. All right. Super flex, tight end premium. This is a 12-team league. So we have Drake May, Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. We do not have a third quarterback at the moment, but we've got two pretty solid ones at the top. Bijan Robinson, and then it falls off real quick. Trey Benson, Alexander Madison, Kendre Miller. Wide receivers, nice room. CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, DK Metcalf, Jerry Jeudy, Keon Coleman. That's about it. And then Dalton Kincaid at tight end. So, Andrew, this guy's wanting to know if he's a contender. Well, let's see real quick. Where is this in contender mode?
So this is before the rookie draft as well.
Okay, this is before the rookie draft
106
as well.
and 107.
Okay. So right now we are in 6th place. in contender mode. And then where were we in Dynasty? We're pretty much the same, right?
Yep.
Fifth place. So pretty darn close. So Andrew, when you look at a team like this that obviously has some superstars, you've got guys like Bijan, Ceedee, Puka. They're on the cusp. They're on the come up. They've got some other young assets on this team as well, specifically looking at the quarterback position. Where are you wanting to go? Because this team does have 106, 107 that they could add to, just rookie picks to add to this team this year. But they could also potentially move those assets. What picks do we have in 26 and 27, Pete? Looks like nothing first. In 26. Just our first and second and 27. So, correct. So where are you going, Andrew, with a team like this?
I mean, long story short, I'm not forcing this into contention just yet. I don't think we're ready today. Maybe, by the time your trade deadline comes around or whatever, this has changed. But I think right now I'm going to stay the course. Obviously, we are loaded with superstars, but we are lacking the depth. So this could be a team that mid-season, you have an injury to Drake May or you have an injury to Bijan, and all of a sudden it's like, man, I push the chips in, and now I have kind of a dead roster for 2025. So I don't want to push those chips in yet. Obviously, I think right now, with the superstars that we have, there's maybe a potential couple tier down opportunities to add some of that depth, but also I think right now too, like the big thing, and I know we still have the rookie draft to do, that RB2 slot is shaky, and we got to get some running backs on this team too.
We do. So if we're going to stay the course, Pete, why don't we pull up a little mock draft tool here for us?
I got you.
Because right now that's going to be a big part of this is how does this draft play out? So this is fairly common. Typically I see Cam Ward go in those first 5 picks. So it's a little surprising to see him available. But Quinshon Judkins being here is not a surprise. This is usually the range he goes. Are you just kind of staying the course? I'm a big guy, best player available. If there's somebody else that I want that is not the best player available, I'd much rather make a trade than just force something. I know we would like a tight end potentially with Dalton Kincaid being our only tight end, but it feels like we're forcing it, taking them over a Quinshon Cam Ward, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm the same way where if it's not the best player available that fits my team or whatever, I'm more than happy to trade that pick out and go get a player that's going to fit my need. That's also going to be, worth the value that I think. But right now, when I'm looking at this draft board, best player available for me, it's 3 guys clearly for me. It's going to be Cam Ward, Quinshon Judkins, and Emeka Egbuka. Those are going to be my top 3 players. We don't necessarily need Egbuka. So I think the need is going to push us where we do have back-to-backs right here, right? 106 and 107.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm taking Cam Ward and Judkins, and that's solving the RB2 slot for me, and also gives me the quarterback there to kind of just add with Trevor Lawrence. And who is our QB1 again?
Drake May.
And then I feel good about my quarterback room here.
Yeah, I think we're in the same boat. We take the best available player. So now we're adding Cam Ward to this group, which now gives us a little more flexibility at quarterback. So we're adding Cam Ward to this group. And we're adding Quinshon Judkins, which running back is a huge need for this team. So it was nice that the best player available did fit a need there. So what other picks do we have in this draft, Pete? We're not picking again until like the 3rd or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
302. Who you guys picking here?
I mean, you want to try and solve some tight end if you want to. There's guys like Arroyo and Ferguson here.
I love either one of those players. I think in a Superflex tight end premium, getting them in the 3rd is a really good value. So I would be totally fine taking either guy there, to be honest.
I think I prefer Arroyo over Ferguson.
Okay. Totally fine. Like I said, I don't have a strong opinion between those two. It's funny you say that because today we were doing a mock draft video. And because of that, I actually did take Aurora over Ferguson in that as well, but I had a really hard time deciding between the two. So let's go ahead and go with Elijah Aurora there.
Perfect.
And then 5, I would like to add to our running back room. There's a lot of like upside guys here. Jarquez Hunter, Devin Neal, totally fine with.
For me, mostly
Jaden
at
Blue,
this
Woody
point
Marks.
in time, like the rest of the way, this year specifically, it's just grab as many of these running backs as you can, because I think there's a chance that a couple of these guys end up being relevant eventually. But I agree with you. I like Jaden Blue the most. You mind scrolling down for me a little bit too, Pete, on some of those running backs? Like, I like Jarquez Hunter as well. DJ Giddens is a guy that I like. I know he's a little bit down the board. Taj Brooks is a guy that I like as well. But I think in this specific spot, I would go with Blue, just because of the lack of talent there in Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely zero issue with that. That would be the way I was leaning as well. I do look like Woody Marks too. I think he's got an opportunity there in Houston as a pass catcher. But let's go ahead and go with
banged up right now too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I would be fine with either one, but let's go with Jaden Blue. I think that's a very solid pick. Another guy that's going to probably profile less as an every down back and more so as a third down pass catching back as well. But we've seen like the tape. This kid can fly. He can make some big plays. Really good hands out of the backfield. So I like that pick as there.
Well, if you ask Dallas is saying that he looks like Kamara. So if you think you're getting Alvin Kamara, somebody from their building said he looks like Alvin Kamara right now.
Wow. That's a pretty high praise. I feel like every year, like 2 or 3 guys get comped to him and they never end up being Alvin Kamara, but that's just how it goes sometimes. All right. This is the last pick we're going to kind of focus in on, but same boat. Take the running back you love here. Here's 5 guys that probably not LaQuint Allen, but all the other 4, I'd be totally fine taking any of those other 4 guys that we see on the screen there. Devin Neal, Jarquez Hunter, Kyle Monungai would probably be Hunter for me. But do you have a preference?
Hunter.
Okay. Hunter, done and done.
Perfect.
All right. So that means we added to our running back room. We added Quinshon Judkins, we added Jarquez Hunter, and we added Jaden Blue. So we added some nice depth there.
I don't know why it's popping up there. There we go.
There we go. Now everybody's there. We added Cam Ward to our quarterback room. We added Elijah Roro to our tight end room. So kind of with that kind of concept and knowing that this could slightly adjust depending on how your draft actually goes. I still, even with the young running backs that I'm excited about, don't think that that's enough for us to compete this year. But I'm keeping an eye on Trey Benson. I'm keeping an eye on Jaden Blue and Jarquez Hunter. If one of those guys pop and we get what we expect to get out of Quinshon Judkins, all of a sudden we could find ourselves in a spot where we are contending. If that's the case, the other big question mark is just, what is Dalton Kincaid doing? Is Dalton Kincaid going to be the player that kind of flashed as a rookie? Or is he going to be the player that we saw all of last year where he looked like a total turd Ferguson? Like, don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. So there are enough question marks here that, Andrew, I think I'm with you. I'm not forcing things at this point to try to go into the season. But I will say this. We have been put in kind of a tricky predicament because I'm remembering this from when we first went through everything. We do not have our 26 first. So that puts us in a tough predicament because we don't necessarily want to be in a spot where we're giving somebody the 102, 103, 104. So I would still be open to making maybe little subtle moves to try to put us in a contention window without mortgaging my future, because I don't think we're good enough to say like, oh yeah, sell your 27 first. Like, I don't think we're there. But
yeah, and we can't be in a spot right now either where we're selling, some of our young talent to buy old veteran talent, because I also don't know if we're kind of trying to balance this line here between contention and like not pushing the chips in too hard and regretting this a little bit too early. So I think you have to kind of like balance that. So if you are buying pieces, it's probably got to be guys that are a little bit younger, have a little bit of a longer window. Like the last guy we talked about, CMC, you're not buying CMC on this roster.
No, he's way too expensive. Like I'm not buying anybody at that kind of price tag because we don't have the assets to push the chips in. If I'm buying somebody, I think I'm a little more open to buying some older assets than you are just to see. But it'd be one like here's the one that sticks in my mind: James Conner. We have Trey Benson on this team, so now this gives us the opportunity if we can buy James Conner for a late second, I think I would be open to something like that because of having Trey Benson on our team. We kind of insulate that risk a little bit. That gives us a contender piece this year without selling the farm. Would you be more open to that or no?
I'm open to it. I think there's a chance here though where we could maybe go for a different backfield, because now it feels like I'm hoping, I just lock up one backfield. Like if we're going to be pushing the chips in a little bit, I want Trey Benson to hit, and I want the guy that I trade for to be able to hit as well. Because if James Conner hits, we don't have anything in Trey Benson. I want two guys. So I think a player that I would go that's maybe a little bit younger than James Conner, also I think has potential to still be a guy that's going to produce for us this year. I would probably be looking at a guy like Isaiah Pacheco. I like Isaiah Pacheco as a player to maybe go by. I also like a guy like Travis Etienne. I think both of those guys' name value right now in the Dynasty trade market is probably so much lower than where they actually are going to be as producers over the next couple of years. And I see you, Green Bay. I ain't even acknowledging that. But I just think we could get Travis Etienne or Isaiah Pacheco and probably still have similar production. I know James Conner is, if he hits, he's going to hit, but I just think we can get a little bit more legs out of those two guys.
I get you, and I understand that, and I think that's your best ball side, where you're like, I want guys that can all hit. I don't want just one backfield. So I get that and understand that. And honestly, I would be fine with Etienne or a little bit less Pacheco, but more on Etienne as well, because I think Isaiah Pacheco's shelf life is probably the same as James Conner's. So I could go either way on that one. Yeah, okay. I think especially with Kareem, like they brought Kareem Hunt back, they brought Rashard Smith in, so that's going to be passing work. And I think they've been begging to replace him for a year or two now. It just hasn't quite worked. Apparently they kicked the tires last year on Josh Jacobs, and it seems like they keep like trying to go after guys, and it just kind of keeps falling short. But I just don't see him long for the league at this point. But we'll see. Could totally be wrong.
I personally think he's going to get an extension from Kansas City. I think he's going to be their guy. I do. I would. Okay. He is the number one buy that I have been buying all offseason. I've been getting him everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm very bullish on Pacheco right now.
All right. Well, if you're Team Andrew, go after Isaiah Pacheco, because if that's the case, if this guy's getting extended with any legitimate money, obviously an extension of $3 million a year, you're not very excited. But if it's $6-7 million a year,
Ramondre Stevenson money.
Yeah, you want that Ramondre money. Well, but you want more production. So yeah, if that's the case, totally good with that. I'm a little more leery, but you might have an opportunity to get both here. Honestly, this team has both James Conner and Isaiah Pacheco. You might even be able to say like, all right, you're looking like you're moving toward a rebuild. Although this guy might not realize it, because like his team is old as balls. He should be looking down a rebuild.
The 103, 203. So he
was
bad
the
last
third
year
pick
too.
this year, so he was not good. I'd be like, hey, I'm looking at like, I don't want to push all my chips in, but I would like to like push some in. I'll give you, even in this year's class, you've got multiple thirds. Give a, I mean, what would you give, Andrew? Like, would a second and like a third in this year's class and maybe 2/3 in this year's class? Do you think that could get it done?
I think it could get it done, and I'd be okay to do that. Right now, like if I'd be happy to give, I told you I'm bullish on Pacheco. So like if somebody asked me like, hey, what are you willing to offer for Pacheco? I'd say I'll give you a late second. I think that gets done 9 out of 10 times for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be willing to do the second. You get Conner for a couple thirds, and maybe this guy just values them differently. Like I said, I'm bullish on Pacheco. Maybe he's bullish on Conner or something like that. But two and maybe 2 3s, I think it gets the deal done. And I don't think that, put your team in a bad spot over the next couple of years either. It's just a second and a couple thirds. Like I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, the hit rates we know, especially on the late seconds, you're looking at right around, actually it's under 20% hit rate on late seconds. Third round picks, you're looking at about an 8% hit rate. So I would much rather just put my assets on a player that I know can help me do what I kind of have to do this year without mortgaging my future, which is I have to contend enough to not give this guy, 103, 104, something like that. But I also need to realize that if one or two things go wrong on this team, if Judkins just doesn't hit like we thought he was going to, Drake May regresses, something like that, we might not be there. So I think this gives you the best opportunity to potentially contend this year without truly mortgaging your future to do it. You feel the same way, Andrew?
I do. And something to think about there too is we have those, later picks in this draft is where as well, where we were saying just grab your running backs. If you trade for Pacheco, draft Brashard Smith and ensure that backfield. And just if Brashard turns into the guy and I'm wrong about Pacheco, then you have Brashard Smith on the roster already.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, good luck moving forward, Tyler. Kind of our advice on this one overall. We're looking at just staying the course overall. Don't give up your first round picks, but look at your seconds and thirds. Even in this year's draft, I know, especially when people are on the clock and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to get Jaden Blue. I can't wait. Well, maybe even though we like him, we're fans of him. We know that we're looking at about
Alvin
an 8%
Kamara.
hit rate. So, it gives you, Alvin Kamara, you're about to get him. So guys like Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Etienne, James Conner, those would be probably your best bets. And then when I'm in week 6, 7, 8, now I'm reevaluating my team. Now I'm saying, okay, did Drake May and Trevor, or who was it? Trevor Lawrence?
Yep.
Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, Cam Ward. Did two of those three guys hit? Like, are they looking good? Are they looking like legitimate assets? Is Quinshawn hitting this year? Is my guy Dalton Kincaid potentially back from the dead? Like, I'm evaluating all of those things to say, okay, am I actually competing or not? Because if not, then you could look and see and like, hey, maybe one of those pieces you can get your own first back or something like that. So I think you stay the course, make little moves, and then in season you can decide what direction to go.
And keep in mind too, mid-season as you get to that point, I also think you have some flexibility where, say Cam Ward is hitting early on, or Trevor Lawrence does look like he's improved a lot with Liam Cohen. You could down tier one of those quarterbacks as well and get some extra depth. We talked about, wanting to get a little bit more depth. Down tier one of those QBs if you want to, if two of these guys are already hitting mid-season.
Absolutely. All right, on to the next one.
I misspelled my name again in my.
Did you really, Pete? Come on.
I do these really early in the morning.
It's so funny. I don't think you've ever misspelled any of our names, but you've
No, because I go over all your names multiple times, but I just kind of assume I know how to spell my own name.
It's fantastic. All right. Here we go. We have a super flex league. This time it is truly not a tight end premium. And this is Bryce's league, correct?
Yes.
All right. So this is a 10-teamer, start 9, and they have a 10 spots for taxi, but it's rookies only on there. So here's his questions. First of all, I need to drop somebody on my current roster to pick up a defense. So I've been thinking of ways to package and tier up in a trade, turning 2 or 3 players into one to free up some roster space. Love doing that. Let's see if we can find you one of those. Secondly, I want to contend this year, but I've been thinking about attempting to reload on the fly in this year's rookie draft, which hasn't happened yet. My running back room is my biggest weakness. Thinking I would maybe take Judkins or Harvey with 107. Also trade some of my wide receiver depth to snag the 102 and take O'Marion. Contend this year or set up next year and the year after. So let's look at this team here. Super flex, but it's only 10 teams. So we've got Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, Matthew Stafford. Running backs, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, J.K. Dobbins. Wide receivers, we've got JSN, A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, Jerry Jeudy, George Pickens, Brandon Ayuk, Jaden Reed, Calvin Ridley. We have Sam Laporta and Tucker Kraft at tight end. 107. We do not have our second round pick, though. So there was one thing that he said that stuck out to me that I'm like, you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. If I am in a 10-team league, I could not care less about having wide receiver depth. I really couldn't. When I'm looking at a team like this, go back to our wide receivers there, Pete. I want those top 3 guys and one more. And I'm going to feel pretty solid throughout the season. That means everybody else is potentially up for grabs and available in a trade. So if I'm able to move those guys, move up a little bit, if I'm able to pair Zay Flowers and with 107 and move up to 102, I'm loving life. If he's like, bro, that's not enough. Okay, take Brandon Ayuk too. Okay, take Jaden Reed too. Okay, take George Pickens too. Like whatever. Like I'm willing to move 2 of those receiver assets and my pick to move up to 102 if I truly believe in Omarion Hampton. That's the big thing there. What's the gap for you between Omarion Hampton and Quinshon Judkins? Because that's the question. If you love Quinshon and you don't think there's a big gap, okay, well then let's use these wide receivers to get us somebody else. Maybe we move on from Joe Mixon and pair the receivers with Joe Mixon to do that. So a lot of this is going to come down to how you feel about Omarion Hampton versus Quinshon Judkins. I think there's a big enough gap that I would be willing to do that, but I would also be fine just taking Quinshon and pairing some receivers with Joe Mixon to maybe even still give myself a chance to compete this year, but to put myself not far away as far as like a mini rebuild and reloading as well. Andrew, would you be open to moving some of those receivers to do something like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be open to moving them. And I think the way that you break it down, it comes down to me is like, would I want my running back room to be Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, and Omarion Hampton, or would I want it to be Josh Jacobs, a stud running back that we can trade for by packaging those players, and Quinshon Judkins? And for me, I would rather have the second option. I'd rather have Judkins as RB3 and go get a guy like Achane or go get a guy like something where we can maybe have another superstar running back in there.
Yeah, because that's the thing. In 10-team leagues, I'm really not overly worried about depth. And especially since we're only starting 9, difference makers are what matters. Yeah, if I'm starting 12 guys, yeah, I need to spread that out a little bit more because 1 player or 2 players are not going to make that big of a difference. In a start 9, 1 or 2 players are going to make a pretty big difference in my overall points. So I really do want to look at where's a superstar or 2, or at least a significant upgrade that I could find. So Pete, find us a running back in some of these on some of these teams that could potentially be available. Now, 10-teamers are tough. People aren't always willing to because everyone thinks they're a contender. But here we go. Right away, very first team we look at that's down at the bottom has no wide receivers. No wide receivers.
Bryce Hall
also has the 102.
And Bryce Hall are both sitting there. Like, to me, that's music to my ears.
Yeah, this is the team, though. He said he was going to try and trade up and go get Hampton. So maybe they're adding Hampton to this roster. And maybe this is a team that at 102, maybe they're going to go for the need and take Travis Hunter or Tet, depending on how they feel about the wide receivers.
Yeah, maybe, because clearly they need them. And I think if this team is honest with themselves, especially looking at the rest of the league, their receivers are not going to allow them to compete this year. They're just not. So
can I say something?
No.
Every roster has had Tez Walker on it so far, and it's all because of you, Garrett.
Look at that.
I'm willing. It's he was your favorite wide receiver in that class.
He was not my favorite wide receiver in that class. You stop it.
Well, let's do a favor for everybody and just everyone that we've seen who has Tez Walker. Let's all just drop him. Let's just
there you go.
Put him to the waiver wire, and we'll all move on.
Get that quarterback 3 on a team.
Yeah, there you go. So what would you be looking to package? Would you do you think we would even need 2 to go after Christian McCaffrey or Bryce Hall? Do you think we would even need 2 wide receivers on top of Joe Mixon? Or do you think 1 would get the job done?
I think it depends on how this guy feels about our specific wide receivers. I think if you went Mixon, maybe Zay Flowers, you might be able to get Bryce, which would be interesting. I think also I'd honestly be interested to see just a couple of these other teams too, because I don't mind buying Bryce and I don't mind buying CMC, but maybe there's a little more budget friendly options for us too, where we can get away with a little bit more and just load our roster up.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be totally fine with that. Jonathan Taylor would be an interesting one. This team, I don't think they really think they're a contender. They got Josh Allen and all those running backs. But the team with JT might be willing.
Like Chase Brown? How do you feel about Chase Brown there?
I'm torn on Chase Brown, to be honest. I'm not pro Chase Brown and I'm not anti Chase Brown. I'm very lukewarm on Chase Brown. On one hand, what he did last year was really, really impressive. This defense has not improved much this past offseason. We'll see if they even can sign their first round pick. But I think we're going to see more of the same this season from Chase Brown. Do I feel supremely confident that he is their long-term guy that they trust at the running back position? I don't necessarily have supreme confidence in that either. So depending on the cost, that would be the question mark for me. Like, what am I having to pay? If they think they're a contender and I can just say, hey, I'll give you Joe Mixon and Calvin Ridley because you think you're a contender, cool. Yeah. Give me Chase Brown.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was saying, like, do that, or if it's Joe Mixon and Ayuk, you want Ayuk, fine, take him, and I'll take Chase Brown here and have him as a guy that, if we're being real with ourselves, I think, if it is, we're both projecting it to be a little bit more of the same this next year. This is a player who has RB1 potential pretty much the entire 2025 season. So,
absolutely,
he's a player that, he might not have a super long shelf life, but who knows? He goes out and performs really well this year. He holds up health-wise, and then Cincinnati's like, do it again. Like, we have to figure out this defense because there's nobody here that we're paying. There's nobody, like, they have all the money wrapped up in Burrow and Higgins and Chase, and just keep the budget option right here at running back because it's been doing fine. Like, I think that's also in the range of outcomes. So there's a little bit of projection here, but I think you can get away getting Chase Brown cheaper, and I think he has as good of a shot in 2025 to be a top 12 finisher as Bryce Hall, and Bryce Hall is going to be twice the cost, I think.
Yeah, I have no problem with that whatsoever. The only question is longevity. So it all depends on how you feel about his longevity, because I think most people, if they're honest with themselves, project Chase Brown to be very good this year. So how long do you think you're going to get this asset for? But either way, it's going to be just as long, if not longer, than Joe Mixon. So
absolutely. Yeah. I've been a very pro Joe Mixon person over the last couple of years. Is like, just keep scooping that value every year.
Absolutely.
I've left the train. I will not be back. The train's I'm off. I'm not on Joe Mixon anymore. I'm done.
Yep. We saw him be a little banged up. And even though I don't think Nick Chubb is much of a threat, it does kind of signal that, hey, maybe we want to just make sure everything's good here. They bring in a pass-catching running back, which that's part of the reason Joe Mixon's been as good as he has his past couple seasons, because of some of the passing game work. So if Woody Marks cuts into that at all of a sudden we're in a bad spot. Whereas with Chase Brown, I don't see anybody cutting into his passing game work. That's locked and loaded. The only question is, does a guy like Taj Brooks maybe steal a few carries away? Sure, but that's not where his bread was buttered anyway. Like, I'm not overly – it's more like Devon Achane, where I don't care as much about what he's doing on the ground. I want to know, is he getting targets? And if he's getting targets, I'm very interested in him to that level. So, I would have no problem going that route.
Agreed.
All right. So we have a couple potential options there that we could go after. Fine going after CMC or Bryce Hall. Love going after Chase Brown, potentially, depending on the cost. Some you might have to give up 2 receivers with it. One, you might have to only give up 1 receiver, which would definitely be ideal. So consolidating. And I think this helps you get a little bit younger, kind of help accelerate that rebuild that you're talking about, or not that rebuild, the reload that you're talking about, because I think you could still compete with this roster. Let's go back to our roster. If we now have Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown, and Quinshon Judkins, we add that to J.K. Dobbins, who I actually low-key think is going to be, if he's your running back 4 for this season, I think you're going to feel pretty good about that. I think he's going to get more love and more run than people are expecting. I expect him to actually be the leader as far as touches on the ground this year. I don't think it's going to be RJ Harvey. I think we're going to get more touches from J.K. Dobbins on the ground. I think once you add in the passing game, that'll be a little bit closer between the two. But I think J.K. Dobbins is going to finish the year probably with more fantasy points than RJ Harvey. Now, I don't know that that's a long-term answer, but as far as him being my RB4 this year, I feel pretty darn good about that. We're really solid at tight end, even so much so in a 10-team league. If somebody is wanting to get younger, especially with me already having a lotto ticket in Tucker Kraft, if there is a team that is maybe contending, maybe not, I would love to see, like, is George Kittle available? Like,
Yep.
Oh,
you know, somebody
straight up.
like that where it upgrades us for this year, but we still have that young, exciting player in Tucker Kraft.
Kittle, Otten. What's his team look like?
Team is this team 6. So he might be willing. What's the rest of his team?
Yeah,
he-
he's
contending.
chips
He's
are
a
pushed
contender.
in. Josh Allen, Saquon, Henry. He's running at the championship, or thinks he can run the
Yeah.
championship for sure.
Yeah, he's not giving up on him. So that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't work. No worries. Any other moves you're looking to make? What's our quarterback position again?
It's CJ
It
Stroud and Joe
is-
Burrow, Matthew Stafford. I'm fine there. I'm good. I think maybe if you wanted to, the only one that I would say maybe you could move is Stroud, but if I do that, I
Yep.
want to like tier him up.
I
But I also
totally
think
agree.
really the only other thing that I would do is if say we do that move where we're trading Mixon and let's call it Ayuk or one of these receivers for Chase Brown, you add Judkins. There's still excess wide receivers here with Zay and Judy and Pickens and Jaden Reed. Let's bundle 2 more of these guys together and up tier at a wide receiver position and just try and get we have 7 or 8 wide receivers that we could play from a week to week basis. Let's just keep condensing this until we get to like 5 and then I'm good.
Yep, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And I'm with you. I'm not the biggest CJ Stroud guy. I did my projections on the Houston Texans this year, and right now for him, I don't see him getting inside the top 12 this year. I think we're looking at more like quarterback 15, 16, maybe even quarterback 18 on the year. So I just don't think the ceiling's there. The reason he was so exciting for everybody was he had a very solid rookie season, but even his numbers weren't amazing. He was quarterback 11, but it was the youth. It was the youth.
Yep.
I like to play a lot more in 2 to 3 year windows. That's most of these quarterbacks you're going to get 2 to 3 years out of. So if I can take a CJ Stroud and I can pair 2 receivers with him, and now we are going after the Jalen Hurts of the world again, like we did in one of the earlier shows. Yep. Like I'm very, very interested to make that happen because once again, in a 10-team league, I need difference makers. I don't need solid players. I need difference makers. So that's something else I would be open to making happen.
Totally agree. And also something to think about as well. It's a little bit the opposite direction of what we're trying to do, but I think it sets up a secondary move that could help you in the future would be maybe what the answer is to down tier CJ Stroud. Go get a guy like Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray can outproduce CJ Stroud this year. Have Kyler Murray on the team. You're probably getting similar production, but they might be willing to throw you a first-round pick that you can use as ammunition to then up tier that wide receiver again somewhere else, or just keep it in your pocket for mid-season, and then you can use that however you feel fit.
Yeah, if I'm able to make a seemingly lateral move and pick up legitimate, like a first-round pick draft capital on top, totally fine with that. You know, Kyler Murray, you mentioned Brock Purdy. I'd be fine doing that with. Baker. Oh, absolutely, Baker. Yeah, any of those kind of guys in that range. Even honestly, Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff probably scores the same or more than CJ Stroud. Dak?
I'd go Dak. Yeah.
Yep. He's primed to have a big year. Best receiving core he's had in a long time. So awesome. I think that wraps everything up for us on this one, right?
I believe so.
Okay. All right. Well, Bryce,
You're looking good.
Yeah, kind of look for moving on from Mixon more than likely. See if you can pair some wide receivers with them. We're looking at maybe getting some wide receiver depth. We can even look to move CJ Stroud. We're looking at some running backs to potentially add to our team, or maybe tier up at quarterback, or make a lateral move, pick up some extra draft capital. You'll be in a very, very good spot with your team. You were ready.
Another one.
This one. You were ready. All right. We have our next one here. We have the Gridiron Gang League. This is a super flex tight end premium. This is our guy, Dayne. Dayne has been hanging out with us. He's done a few of these now. So Dayne, good to have you back, my friend. This team is currently ranked 4th in Dynasty mode with Drake May, Cam Ward, Michael Penix, and Jalen Milroe. So tons and tons of upside. in that quarterback room. Ashton Genty, Caleb Johnson, Tyrone Tracy, Bayshall Tootin, Jarquez Hunter in the running back room. Wide receivers, Nico Collins, Travis Hunter, Romo Dunze, Devonta Smith, Emeka Ibuka, Kyle Williams, Rashid Shaheed, Marvin Mims. Tight ends, a little bit shallow at the tight end position, Terrace Ferguson and Dallas Goedert, along with Harold Fannin Jr. The draft has already happened. So this is a young team that Dayne said he's kind of ready to look at pushing towards being a legitimate contender. So what moves would you make to take this team from a young, exciting team into that contender window? Right now, we're in 4th place in Dynasty mode. Pete, where are we at in contender mode? All right, so we're in 10th. So we got a ways to go. But as you can see, there's really one dominant team and then not a huge difference between the rest of them. So, Andrew, I have to pee like a racehorse. I'm going to let you take this one from the top. I'm going to go pee real quick, and I'll be right back real quick.
We'll swap because I got the same. So when you get back, I'm out.
All right, and then you go pee. All right, that'll be good.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I think really what I would be doing, Pete, is just looking at, how can we upgrade this tight end? So if you don't mind scrolling back up for me just a little bit so I can see some of the excess here. The wide receiver position, we are really deep with Ibuka, Odunze, Devontae, Hunter, Collins, a lot of young guys that I'm excited about. So I'm probably going to try and upgrade this tight end position kind of on a budget right now. I think what I would try and do would be try and move maybe Shaheed and Mims and try and package these two to go get like a veteran like Evan Engram. What do some of these teams that are kind of towards the end here, what do their tight end situations look like?
Let's look. So we have Ferguson here.
I don't mind that either.
Sanders. Yeah, I feel like Ferguson's kind of slept on right now.
Definitely is. And Engram's sitting on the bench. Yep. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to go, just from looking at those, I'm looking at Ferguson or Evan Engram. I think with this team, their wide receiver position is pretty weak with Moore, Addison, Trey Harris, Adonai. They're probably hoping Matthew Golden's down here though too. He's just got the 0 because we're in contending.
We need to get that up a little bit.
Let's see. You could probably move. We could probably move. We might be able to kind of move. What does our draft picks look like actually for 26? Do we have extra?
Yeah, let's see.
We have an extra second.
Multiple 26 seconds, yes.
Okay, I wouldn't mind throwing a second in with like a Shaheed or a Marvin Mims and trying to go get Evan Engram. Okay. But I also think we could go get like Jake Ferguson as well, and that would probably be another cheap option. You could probably get him fairly cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, Team Ferguson. Yeah, I'd be totally open to that. I think people are getting a little more hip to Evan Engram. It might not be enough to get Evan Engram. You might have to throw a little more on top. But
you still think people are, because we're like in that weird boundary area where it's like the second, nobody's giving a first for Evan Engram.
No.
But like the second is like it's almost there. Maybe it is there. It's like this weird range that we're in with him.
It is.
They also have Kittle as well. So
yes,
there's some potential for value for them.
Absolutely. But yeah, both of those players, I would be totally fine with trying to make a move forward, because I think you're absolutely right. And Andrew, you could go pee if you want to. I'll take it from here. But he was absolutely right. With all of those wide receivers, we have a potential to package some of those together and make something happen. So for me right now with this team, I'm with you. This team is absolutely trending toward contender. But right now, the thing really holding us back from being there is, I would say the biggest thing is just, do we have enough at running back? Because obviously we feel really good long-term, and even this year, about Ashton Genty. We feel really good and long-term. I shouldn't say really good. We feel solid, really, and long-term as well about Caleb Johnson. But all of that being said, I don't want to have to start Caleb Johnson if I think I'm pushing into a contender window. I want to be able to start somebody else and have Caleb Johnson be my third running back. But I do think we are at a spot where we could potentially look at trading our 26 first. However, I don't want to do it in the offseason. I would rather, even though players can tend to be a little bit more expensive in season, I would much rather wait until we get in season and then potentially look at my 26 first, because with having to trust Cam Ward, Drake May, Michael Penix, that could go sideways. Caleb Johnson could go sideways. Travis Hunter, Romo Dunze could go sideways. Am I projecting that for a lot of these guys? No, I'm not projecting for them to go sideways. I think a lot of these are really good assets. And so, Andrew, what I was saying here is I am with him on the thought that this is trending toward a contender, but I'm not necessarily moving my 26 first today because there's so many things that could still go sideways in the quarterback room with some of these young receivers, with Caleb Johnson. Like, there's just enough that could go sideways that I would hate to start off the year because somebody got hurt, a couple other guys didn't perform well, and now we're starting off the year 2-4, and I already traded my 26 first, and we're in a tough spot. So this feels like the quintessential wait till in season. Let's figure out exactly what a lot of these young assets are going to do. I'm with you on making the move for a tight end, but let's not move the 26 first until we actually see where we're at with all of these assets.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that too as I was running, to use the restroom. I'm sitting here thinking, like, actually, I think the best move with this roster actually is, like you said, be patient, because we like a lot of these names, but let's also be very real with ourselves. Most of this roster at this point in time is fairly unproven, very unproven at this point in time. So, like, Genty, we like him. Caleb Johnson, we like him. We need to see them play. Same with Tootin, same with Bashard Smith, same with Travis Hunter and Romo Dunze. We need to see Romo Dunze take that step forward. There's so many pieces on this roster where we need to see some signs of life, some development, some production before we can actually say, hey, yeah, we can flip this into a contender. Because I think right now the reality is we don't know if we can flip it into a contender yet because we haven't seen these guys play. So I'm with you. Let's kind of play it a little bit more patient. And the more that I sat on that, I don't like the idea of trading for an Evan Engram or trading for a Ferguson, because I think they are a little bit maybe not aligning with the timeline that you have here, because I think those pieces will be fine for you this year, but there's a chance this roster isn't ready this year and you are playing 2026. So I'm with you. Don't trade the 26 first, and let's be a little bit patient. And if you want to add some young guys, maybe a better play at tight end, because we can still go get some guys and put some tight ends on this roster, but maybe a better play there is like,
I don't hate Ferguson.
Isaiah Likely.
He's still pretty young. Ferguson's only in what, year 4, year 5?
Yeah. Do you believe he's going to be like, is he going to get this extension from Dallas though to stay?
I don't know. That's a good question.
They didn't pay Schultz. Like, they historically, they do kind of, or the last couple guys they've had, they have let them go.
Yeah. I guess it depends on what you're giving up, but like, I would be fine including Goddard in that deal. Like, I think I would be fine trading Goddard straight up for Ferguson. Because I think Ferguson's younger, and I think he has a better chance to help us win this year. So even if I have to throw in like a magical third to get the job done, I think I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I think for me, I would like Likely's a guy that I would look at, because I think there is a chance that Mark Andrews isn't there, next year, and that's kind of like a short-term and a long-term play potentially here. Also, the Laporta owner has Likely, so they might definitely be willing to move Likely if you come with the right price.
That's a good
I
one.
also think if you wanted to kind of go budget options, take a shot on Brenton Strange, a guy that maybe could have a little bit of a breakout here in this offense. He would be a guy I could look at, maybe a Mason Taylor as the number 2 option there for the Jets. Like, there's a couple options you could go get.
Love Mason Taylor. Yep. I love Mason Taylor. I would totally fine with that. Yeah, I would love to give you more. I would love to give you more, Dane. Like, oh, let's trade this guy. Let's make this move. But honestly, you've done a good job. And I know part of that is, you know, you've been hanging out with us, you've been talking with us. So let's see. He actually just let us know something here, guys. I can actually trade with on a consistent basis in this league, and is Kobe and I don't miss. If we could see something from them, that'd be great. All right, let's look at those two teams real quick.
Yeah.
All right,
So
Kobe
Kobe
Blake's the
is
number
the-
one team.
Yeah, this is the nasty team.
Strange.
I
He
mean,
does have Strange though.
he does have Strange. Is he willing to move Bowers or McBride? Like, if he's willing to move one of those, I'm willing to talk.
It's
That's
hard because you can
ridiculous that he
start
has both of
multiple
them.
tight ends,
Yeah.
and it's tight end premium, so that's going to be hard.
It's gonna be hard. But if this is a guy that is always coming knocking and is always willing to make a trade, like, I'm willing to sacrifice some of that wide receiver depth and actually a decent amount of it to get one of those guys on my team, because those are legitimate difference makers. So if he's willing to talk, yeah, my door's wide open to talk about one of those two guys. Who is the other guy though? Because he's going to be a tough one, because he's not going to want to give you. He's not going to want to give you
send
much.
for him for either one.
Um,
Yeah, he has to sell his house. Don't sell your house. You have to live there.
That's
Well,
true.
I don't know. It depends on how much you like Brock Bowers, I guess.
What's our wide receiver room looking like again?
Marvin Mims and Shaheed for Bowers.
Done and done. Yep.
Yep.
That's
yep.
fair trade. Looks great.
And a third.
Honestly, I love this guy as a prospect, but there's so many ways that Travis Hunter could go sideways. If he's interested in Travis Hunter, and that can be the core of it, you're not going to get him straight up. But if that can be the core of the deal, then I'm going to talk about Trey McBride and Brock Bowers. If he's
I would
not
very happily send Travis Hunter plus to grab Bowers. I would happily do it.
right now, his ADP is player 36 off the board. So with that being the case, if he is somebody that, because there are people that are all in on Travis Hunter, and I like him, but there's just, when there's this many ways it could not work, whether he just ends up being the number 2 to Brian Thomas. What if he ends up being a better corner than he is a wide receiver? What if this offense under Cohen just doesn't thrive like we thought it was going to? Like, there's just so many.
Or the offense thrives and then Trevor Lawrence doesn't evolve and they have to go find a quarterback of the future there. Like, there's a lot.
Takes 2 or 3
I guess
years.
they paid T-Law, so that's kind of, I guess they wouldn't go find it right away, but who knows? Like, there's a lot of things here that are tough. And I agree with you with the Travis Hunter thing. Like, I like Travis Hunter. I haven't been able to get to the point that I think a lot of people have gotten with Travis Hunter. So I'm okay doing that as well. But I think the reality of it is it's gonna be very expensive. I know, we're joking about the house and the kidney and all of these other things. It's gonna be very expensive. And do you want to, give up that much of your depth and buy a tight end, maybe because of the format settings? But I think the reality is you may have to find the tight end in a little bit more of a budget way. So did we see that roster?
Let's pull it up right now.
Where are they at? There it is.
Tight end wise, what are we looking at?
Laporta,
Oh, that's likely. That's the likely
team.
owner. See, I like that better.
Make that deal.
Yeah, that's the better. I think that's the better move, is to go for likely. It's cheaper. It still addresses the need, and maybe you are getting the difference maker there long term for Lamar Jackson in Baltimore at that tight end spot.
What kind of trade are you guys looking for likely? Like, what kind of value?
I'm looking to move that wide receiver depth if I'm able to.
I'm okay using some of that wide receiver depth, and we talked about it with the potential Engram trade, but you can use Goddard, you can use the tight end or the wide receiver depth, and I think I'm okay using the second round pick as well to throw in and make that happen.
Yep, absolutely. So I think those are the, if those guys are always willing to talk, you never know. Like, you never know what deals can get done. So I'm always willing to have those kind of conversations, because sometimes somebody's just really in on a guy or really out on a guy, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I wasn't even planning on going after that player, but that just seems like such a good value that I can't pass it up. So if you have guys that are constantly willing to talk, go talk to them and see if you can get that right fit, that right player for your team. So I love it. I think that's great.
So really fast, this guy has RJ Harvey on his team.
Mm-hmm.
Are you, if you get a sniff that someone's kind of panicking about the J.K. Dobbins news, especially if they're a contender,
Buy.
what's like a good kind of buy low, just kind of taking advantage of?
I'm not a huge Harvey guy, but I'm always willing to buy low on a player. So if the price is right, like cool. If somebody's like, hey, can you give me 2 seconds for him? Like, okay, done and done. Like that's easy. Something along those lines. I'm very interested in going after players like that.
But nothing aggressive.
Fergalicious is sometimes people have Quinshon Judkins and RJ Harvey in the same tier. I don't. So if Quinshon's cheap, just as expensive as RJ Harvey for him, okay, well now I'm very interested in Quinshon Judkins because I don't have them in the same tier. So it all depends on how people value them.
Okay.
I'd throw any of those 26 first round picks to get Harvey. I spent a first round pick on him in 2025. I think 26 is a little bit weaker, so I'd do it.
I would. Yeah. I think I would. I do think the 26 class is weaker. I'm not as in it on Harvey as other people are.
But you would still trade him at still draft him at like 110, right?
No, I take him in the second round, which is why I haven't got him. I haven't gotten him at all.
Jack Besh, or
if I'm in a super
Harvey.
flex, I would take him over Jack Besh. So for me right now, like when we're looking at the end, like assuming Quinshon Judkins is the 107, which is typically how it works. So assuming all the guys that go ahead of him, for me at 1-8, I'm looking at either Emeka Egbuka or Jackson Dart there. So those two guys are going to go 8-9 for me. The tight ends are going to go there. And then Caleb Johnson I have over RJ Harvey. So RJ Harvey would be 2-1 for me.
I think that's normal. Like, I think that's right in the normal range. I think I'm drafting Harvey over the tight ends.
Okay. Yeah. And no premium, I would. In premium, I would take the tight ends.
Yeah. I think in premium, even I still might go Harvey. It's really hard for me to, I know it's leaning a lot on, well, I liked his analytic profile. Sorry, I think you guys can still hear me. My camera keeps overheating.
I can still hear you. You're good.
Yeah.
No, but I like the analytic profile, and it's hard for me not to lean a little bit into Sean Payton and that second round draft capital. It just makes me want to, I don't know, it's pushing him up my board, and maybe unrightfully so, but I think there's enough there for me to pull the trigger in the first.
Awesome. All right. What's up next, Pete?
Just really fast, I'm going to change. During this time, I updated the graphic. So bada bing, bada boom. Hey, look at that. Okay, so
correct spelling.
Correct spelling of my name. We have Luke's roster up next. Let me pull it up. Let's see. It is Hot Boy Summer.
All right, and I think, assuming we do not get any more nukes, because we've had 4 or 5 nukes already, this will be our last roster rescue. Now, if we get one more, then if we get a nuke, we'll do it.
Yeah.
But if we don't get any more nukes, this is our first normal one that we've done so far. So this is a 10-team super flex league. At quarterback, we have JJ McCarthy, Matthew Stafford, Geno Smith, and Aaron Rodgers. So we've got the grandkid in there with all his grandpas. Running backs, we've got Javonte Williams, Braylon Allen, Rashad White, Woody Marks, Trevor Etienne. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, Khalil Shakir. Tight ends, we have Brock Bowers, Evan Ingram, and Harold Fannin Jr.
Whole firsts.
Picks wise, we have our first, and then we have 2 firsts in 2026, and then we have 4 firsts in 2027. One of those being our own. So lots and lots of picks. We got a couple Ferraris in the driveway here with Jamar and Brock Bowers, and to some extent even Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Darren Waller.
We have very, very little at running back. So interesting roster right now. This is definitely a rebuild, but I like the direction this is going. So for you, Andrew, when you're in this spot, we're in a super flex league. We have one young quarterback and then a bunch of old farts. We've got some Ferraris and Jamar Chase, Brock Bowers, JSN, but we just don't have enough to compete. We're already starting that rebuild process with the extra picks. Would you be tempted to look at some of these extra picks and say, man, if the price is right, maybe I go all in on a few players and try to compete right now? Or do you like to wait back a little bit and let this marinate and develop still?
If this were my roster, I would be waiting and letting this marinate a little bit. And honestly, I might be leaning even more into this, maybe even a little bit more aggressively. I know it's going to sound scary, and maybe you want to entertain this, Garrett. Maybe you don't. But I'm even okay, like, putting some of the Ferraris up for sale in the front yard.
I'd be open to it. I would be open to it for the right price. Like, I'm definitely not taking any sort of this is not a fire sale, no discounts. But somebody wants to pay me 4 first for Jamar Chase. All right, we can talk.
Or you want to give me, Marvin Harrison Jr. season over here. Maybe he wants to give me Marvin Harrison plus something for my Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I would be open to that. But I think I am with you. I am leaning into this rebuild even a little heavier, even to the point where, I get it. You technically need to have players on your roster. But, I, at this point, am selling Javonte, Rashad White, Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith, and whoever our other old quarterback was. Was it Stafford?
It was Geno.
Stafford, Geno, Rodgers.
Geno, Stafford, Rodgers.
Stafford.
Yep.
Those 3 are gone. I think Javonte's gone. I'm okay moving White. I'm okay dropping.
I want no points.
Yeah,
even
I'm
if
out.
I lose these deals, I don't care. Okay, I'll give you a third for a quarterback. Okay, cool. It's a 10-team league. They're not worth as much anyway.
Yeah.
I don't want to score points. I want my pick to be the 1-1. And that's going to be hard to do with Jamar Chase and JSN and Brock Bowers. So I need to only be able to start one quarterback, and that's JJ McCarthy. I need to not be able to start any other quarterbacks. I need to have my best running backs truly be I'm cutting Mostert just in case. I literally want my best running backs to be Woody Marks and Trevor Etienne. I want those to be my best running backs, because even if I don't trade Jamar Chase and Brock Bowers, I want to make sure that I'm not scoring any more points.
Yeah, and guys, like we said with Mostert, drop him and pick up another Phil Maffa type of player. Pick up a LaQuint Allen type of player, because the dart throw that you're going to have at the running back is much more valuable to you than whatever the hell Raheem Mostert's going to give you this year. He's just not going to give you anything, I don't think.
Yep, absolutely. So I think you're right. I think we lean into this a little bit more. I'm not as apt to move.
Is
those
that the
guys
waiver wire?
Yeah, we got. Strange.
Pick up Strange. Drop Mostert, pick up Strange right now.
Sinut.
Yep.
Or Will Howard if you want to.
Yeah, give yourself another quarterback. I would much rather him.
If you want to play the legal game with Bond, he's better than Mostert dart throw.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a couple really nice dart throws on the waiver wire too. Yeah.
So I think that's the route you go, is you just take players that either are boom players, even though they have literally no floor, the bottom could just fall out and they could be a zero value. That's fine. I don't care. I don't want to score points. I want my pick to be the 1-1, because then if I'm adding elite assets to Jamar Chase and Brock Bowers, assuming I don't move them, now that's how I really get to where I need to go. Or you get there and you've got the 1-1 and the 1, whatever with some of your other picks. Now I can move those for young, exciting assets, because people are really excited to get the 1-1. So I think that's the route I'm going. If you were, like I said, I'm maybe a tad more hesitant than you, but if you were to move Bowers, JSN, Jamar Chase, what are you looking to get? Like, I know you said Marvin Harrison plus something. What's a plus that's worth it to you?
I mean, I think of the ones that we named, like on the team, the guy that I would be, it sounds the craziest, I think, probably because of the season that he just had. But of the guys, I think Jamar Chase is probably the guy I'm more likely to sell. I would rather keep Bowers. This is tight end premium, right? This is Pete,
it is not.
I don't think so.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Superflex.
Actually, that might change. I'm actually down tier Brock Bowers since it's not tight end premium. So if I could like move him, I'm okay starting heck, in a rebuild, like I'm okay to go way low at the tight end and just figure that out later. Like, could you move Bowers for like a Kraft or a Kincaid and get a bunch thrown on, like actually get a big difference maker at a wide receiver position potentially?
Like a
Or
Latin
would
Conky?
you? What about a Warren?
Yeah.
So
like
Kraft
Tyler
or Warren, either one.
Yeah.
If this team's willing to move both, yeah, give me Kraft or Warren, Lad McConkey, and I'm still asking for more. Maybe I can get Odunze as well.
Or even if they want to, like it, I prefer Lad McConkey, but if you want to go even further, like we could go Warren and Tet McMillan and, the first round pick that he has, because he has extra first too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like that's just going to give me ammunition. Now the thing is, like, this is 10 teams, so think of this in stages for your rebuild, right? Like we're going to be breaking it down, getting a ton of ammunition, and then once we get a little bit later down the road when we're ready to contend, then we're going to be consolidating this and putting this back together to get some studs. So the only thing is, like, if you're breaking down Brock Bowers and you're then going to be trying to consolidate back up to Brock Bowers later, like that's the only thing that you need to think about. But if you're okay, or you have belief that Tyler Warren can be a top 5 guy at the tight end position, or Tyler Warren can be a difference maker for you, and you can add a difference maker in Tet McMillan at the wide receiver and have a first round pick, like you have to have conviction with those moves. So it's a little bit riskier because the guy you're trading is a young superstar already. But I think it allows you to shed points and still have the potential to find maybe a little bit more than what you had as far as points spread across your starting lineup.
But just again, I know I'm being redundant, but you've got to pay at minimum the sticker price for those players or more. Like, just because
Absolutely.
I'm in rebuild, I am not, there's no discounts being given on players like this.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And I'll emphasize it again. No discounts.
Don't do it. Don't do it. All right.
I am still waiting for a roster where you're gonna say, hey, I'm fine with taking a discount on Brock Bowers.
It's gonna be a few
Probably not.
years. It's gonna be a few years. All right.
He's 37.
Well, I think that wraps things up for us. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on, man. Thank you so much for joining us on your first show. It's a little bit of a marathon, and we're only about at an hour and a half or so. We've had some 2.5 hour ones. These can be. Oh, and he's like, I'm out. See you guys.
No, I'm still here. Like the camera's overheating for the first time it's ever done it in its life. So whatever.
So it's not used to having to do a marathon like this. It's exhausted.
I don't know, man. I've done 7-hour streams on the channel.
Yeah,
before,
I was about
never
to
had
say
an issue.
you're a live streamer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I did what was it? It was 10 best ball drafts in one day. Right, like the weekend before the NFL season started last year. It was like 6.5 hours, 7 hours.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's impressive. That's impressive. But Andrew, for real, thank you so much for joining us today, man. It was a blast to have you on.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was really fun. I like it.
If people want to find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, find me at Andrew Tutru on Twitter, or if you guys, I guess X now. I'm just always going to say Twitter. That's just always what I'm going to say. So sorry. But also, if you want to find my YouTube content, all of my YouTube content is at the League FFB. I was chatting in the chat a little bit, so if you see that in there, that's my channel.
Awesome. Pete, anything else before we get out of here?
No, it was a blast.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning into this emergency episode of Roster Rescue. Andrew will be back on Monday. I will be gone. I will be out of town, but Andrew will be back on Monday, and the great Rich Dotson will be joining him as well. So Andrew will get his first experience with Rich. So good luck with
See
that,
what
man.
we can get into, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, appreciate you guys. We will see you guys on Monday.
Later.